Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef. And today we have Ramsey Bergeron in the studio. And he is a leadership coach and so many more things. Ironman, author, used to be a wedding DJ, and boy, if that doesn't say resilience and creativity and thinking on the spot, I don't know what does. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, Ramsey. Tell us what you do and how you got to where you are.
Thanks, Zay. I appreciate that. Yeah, my name is Ramsey Bergeron. I wear a lot of hats, but leadership growth strategist, speaker, author. I pretty much help companies and executives figure out where they are getting in their own way and how it's not what happens to us, but how we choose to respond that really determines our reality and our legacy moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. And also coaching background and doing consulting and also law. I found when I was representing people in legal matters, they had made a series of choices that got them there. And maybe if we had some time to think about it before, maybe that wouldn't be the path they were on. But how do you shift? Well, tell us a little bit more about how you got here. Tell us a little bit. You have a very interesting background. So what led you up to where you are today?
Thank you. I know you mentioned earlier I am an Ironman. I've done 8 full distance Ironman triathlons. I spent the first half of my life focused on my physical well-being. My father passed away from diabetes when I was 12 years old. So my whole thing was I'm not going to go out like that. So focused on what I could control. Had my own personal training business for 15 years and had a lot of fun doing that, helping people realize they didn't have to be a prisoner of their genetics. And then when COVID hit, my best friend passed away. He was a lawyer, moved out to Arizona, where I live now, a couple of years after me from Arkansas, where I grew up. And he drank himself into a coma and passed away. Legal profession, a lot of stress. And watching him kind of collapse in on himself motivated me to help other people realize that they had choice in situations that felt stressful and what could they do. So I went back to school, became a certified coach. So I'm ICF certified now. Some certifications through IPEC, Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And I did that to help other people kind of focus on what they could control, but couldn't do that unless I helped myself. So having spent the first half of my life on my physical well-being, I didn't realize until well into adulthood that I was neglecting my mental and emotional well-being. And I was so myopically focused on Ironmans and my physical well-being. And I don't know if you or your audience can relate that a lot of people will spend all their energy on one element of their life, whether it's work, whether it's money, whether it's a relationship, and let everything else kind of fall to the wayside. And through just doing the work on myself, realizing that I needed to find more structure to have balance in life and find ways to view things differently so that I can have peace and thrive and help others.
Yeah, I love that, coming out with that. Definitely, I wasn't focused on the physical. I'm very smart in academic pursuit. What's the next?
Yeah.
And then, of course, then later in life, you're like, oh, maybe I need to start thinking about my health and my relationships and my friendships. Cool. Your book is called Cake on the Floor. Tell us about that.
Well, it's called Cake on the Floor. I was at a wedding, as you mentioned, I was a wedding DJ. And I was at a wedding and the bride went to cut her cake, but the venue didn't lock the legs of her cake table out. So this 5-tier cake falls all over the floor and 300 guests freeze. And whenever I start to tell that story, the audience is either, oh my gosh, they think that she must have freaked out. Well, that bride actually started laughing. And I thought, what a cool way to respond to a situation that most people would have just been mortified. Oh my God, this is my wedding day. And so the book is called Cake on the Floor, How to Handle Life's Unexpected Moments with Resilience and Grace, because it's not what happens to us, it's how we choose to respond. And, when you think about it, it's really kind of silly. In an hour, that cake would have been gone anyway. Like the guests would have devoured it. Either way, it wasn't going to be there. It just didn't disappear in the way that we wanted it to disappear. And it's really silly when we think about the stories we tell ourselves about what has to happen for us to be successful or for us to be happy. And it's all just stories. It's all just these tales that sometimes have even no basis in reality. So I try to help people take that step back and say, what's fact versus judgment? And whenever I work with law firms, they always get a kick out of, well, judgment is, well, not judgment in that sense, but judgment in what's an opinion versus what's fact. in regard to what we're experiencing.
Okay. So you work with law firms, so you know my challenge there.
Oh, yes, yes, I do. And my ex-wife was the director of operations for a law firm for many years. So
Okay.
firsthand know the stress that would come home every day. And yeah,
Great. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they had operations, but yeah, so knowing someone integral to
yeah.
it. Awesome. Who do you like to work with now?
There's most of my clients. They're all organizational, but they fall into two camps mainly: C-suite or senior executives who have, by all metrics, are very successful, but they feel like something's missing, and helping them take that element of their life that is going well, and how do we translate that to the other areas of life? And the other area I tend to fall into are people who are new to management, who might have imposter syndrome, or who may have been great at their old job, and now, like, say they were a paralegal and now they're promoted to office administrator. No one's taught them how to lead other people. So helping them find those basic skills of how to lead, how to not do your old job, how to focus on what is moving the needle for you and the organization moving forward. Those tend to be the two primary demographics I work with.
Yeah. And how do you work with people? Is it one-to-one workshops?
A little bit of everything. I
Mhm.
generally have a keynote that is my foot in the door for organizations, called Your Powers and Your Perspective, where I really help frame like that fact versus judgment. What is within our control? What is reality versus what's your truth versus a universal truth, and helping people kind of step back from that. I've created a program that I'm launching in January called Next 30, and it's to help people win their next 30 seconds, minutes, and days. So, win your next 30 seconds. How do you respond instead of react in those situations when something happens and our knee jerk, automatic animal brain takes over? Well, how do we create space so that we can decide how we want to show up? Winning your next 30 minutes is helping people learn how to manage time effectively. How do we time block on tasks that really move the needle, and set boundaries around our time, and empower our team to take care of the things they can do so that we're not mired with 1,000 things to do? And then within the next 30 days, how do we create meaningful structure to help move the needle over a period of time? So creating systems and framework. I always say companies have systems for their operations. I create systems for the mindset to be able to help them show up effectively day after day.
Nice. Nice. What do you think about this time of uncertainty? I'll let you answer that however you want to answer it.
I would reflect back to, when have things ever been certain? Um, it's not change that makes it suffer. It's wanting things to be the same. And right now, it's one of those double-edged swords, is that we do have a lot more uncertainty than usual in the modern world. And because of that, business is booming. But I want to be able to help people take a step back and say, with all the change going on, what is within my control? Um, Short of going and there, of exercising your right to protest and march, which I think is fine, or however you feel about it. What can you do? But what can you do to be the change you seek?
Mhm.
Because whenever I work with people, they say, "Oh, I wish my spouse could hear this," or "My kids, I wish my kids could hear this." I'm like, "Well, what about you? Like, if you change, if you embody the principles that you feel are important, other people are going to see that, and that's going to make a difference." Um, so just recentering, refocus what is within your control, and be the example of who you would want the world to be more like.
I love that. Actually doing something within your realm.
Yeah.
If you're an attorney, you can write things and you can talk to your legislators, or if you're a doctor or something like that, you have an ability to rally people that's more effective.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And even
through
for me,
your.
like I've joined local civic organizations where I want to make a
Mhm.
difference in my community. So there's things that we can do. Use AI, like put your skill set into AI and say, hey, this is my skill set. What can I do to make a difference in my sphere of influence, whatever that might be? And you'd be surprised, because it'll just help you think of things that maybe you didn't consider before.
I love that. I do use AI a lot as a thought partner, and encourage people to do it the right way,
Yeah.
properly. Yeah, awesome. What does authentic leadership look like to you?
That's a great question. I even right now on my wrist, I wear the word exemplify.
Nice.
And for me, it's, that could be whatever I want it to be. Do I want to exemplify things that I stand for? It could also be exemplifying things that I don't think are in alignment with me.
Okay.
So authentic leadership is being yourself. I know that's such a basic answer, but I think it begins with knowing yourself, like knowing what are your values, what do you stand for. And I think a lot of people miss that step. They just want to be themselves, or think, well, I just tell it like it is. Well, but is that really who you are? Like have we thought about, do I want to show up? Is kindness a value of mine? Is mentorship a value of mine? What does leadership mean to you? Like, are you authentically leading? Are you authentically managing? Like, are you trying to develop your team? Or are you trying to put out fires and make sure you're comping positive? So I guess getting clarity around who you are, clarity around what your position is, and what is really your intention with your position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that intentionality. And well, no conversation about leadership and working in stressful professions is complete without a talk about burnout. So what advice would you give to the stressed out leaders listening to this podcast?
I would say that overwhelm isn't a matter of capacity. It's a lack of clarity.
Okay.
So like writing, if you feel you have 1,000 things to do, begin by writing them down. Write down the things that you have to do. Just get it out of the mental clutter of your head and get it onto paper, and then begin triaging it. What's the thing you need to take care of immediately? If the first step seems too large, then it's not the first step. Let's break it down into smaller steps. So, because what can happen there is people like, oh my gosh, I've got everything to do. I can't believe I have all, and we end up spinning out and not really doing anything, because I spend so much time talking about how I don't like reality. I wish it wasn't like this. I need more help. I need more staff. And the longer I'm doing that, the less I'm taking agency in doing something constructive. So just prioritizing, writing things down, and then taking a step, no matter how small it might be.
I love that. Well, one of those steps may be to contact you. So how do we do that?
Thank you for asking. BergeronWellbeing.com, Bergeron for those people outside of Louisiana. BergeronWellbeing.com. Best way to get in touch with me through there.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ramsey, for coming on the show.
Thanks, Dan.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been another episode of the Success Partner Podcast. I'm your host, Daya Naef. Please like, subscribe, and